Do your guitar solos sound a little boring, like you're not really saying much of anything and just sort of rambling up and down the scale? We all get stuck there. And when we do, almost all guitar players do not know why their solos sound boring. It's not your scales, it's not your technique, it's one missing skill that we never train. Let's get into it. If you do not know, my name is Ryan Gunn. I've been helping guitar players for over 20 years, really bridge the gap between their creative ideas and what they're able to play, becoming fully fretboard fluent. If you would, please hit the subscribe and bell notification to get more videos on how to make your guitar playing better. So let's jump into the reason why our solos sound boring. We're not saying anything. We're not telling a story. And when we listen to our favorite guitar players, they very, very much are. The number one skill that goes along with this is never forget and always consider what it is that you just played. That way, the story of your guitar solo can move forward. Okay? Whether we are doing a drastic change because we need something fresh, or we're doing some repetition to develop motif for the listener to grab onto. Now, if I just do this, I'm not saying anything important, right? So obviously, I'm not going to remember it or repeat it. What we need to do is establish a little bit of a rhythmic variation that sounds nice. Let's take some of these notes out of here. Now you can use 1, 2, 3, 4 notes, however many you would like. If I take just one for those that are really starting this phase, I can do something as simple as, if I'm in my A minor, I'm using my A minor pentatonic, I'm going to play that note and just do... I'm playing and directly repeating. Playing and directly repeating. Now I can add a couple of notes. Okay, and so on and so forth. Best thing, putting a metronome on and just playing a lick that is interesting rhythmically, right? That just gets out of the 1 and 2, right? That kind of a thing. And repeating it. And then doing it again and repeating it, doing a new one and repeating it. What we're doing is we're strengthening the part of our brain that can directly repeat something, which means we're remembering it. And we need to do that. And we need to strengthen it, to be honest, so that we never get lost. This is the most important part. When we're doing this... we're not saying anything interesting, so obviously we're not going to remember it. This takes like 2 of these stages and puts them together. Something interesting that we can repeat. So that exercise can go on forever. Start adding 2 notes, 3 notes, 4 notes. Get a little comfortable in one section of the minor pentatonic, move to another section of the minor pentatonic, and so forth. The next phase of this is creating an emotional arc. I talk about this a lot in my work. So we want to drive a little bit of tension up and release. Technically, we don't care what the notes are that our favorite guitar players are playing, right? When we're not a guitar player, we don't even know what those notes are, right? We don't care. We don't care what lens a photographer is using or what writing skill a screenplay is written in. We care about how it makes us feel. The emotional response. And we need to add that in our playing. This does not have it at all, right? You can't really deliver emotion through something that you're not saying anything. So you have to learn how to say it. You learn what to say and then learn how to say it with emotion. So this is what I want to do. Same exact exercise. And in your minor pentatonic, you have notes that drive tension up, then you have notes that release the tension down. The notes that drive the tension up are on either side of your root note, which brings the tension and resolves, right? It's the resolve of whatever issue it is that you're going through. So my flat 7, the note before my root note, and the flat 3, the note after my root note, they create this wanting of that root note. We need to get there, right? It drives the tension up, and then we can bring the tension down. So the same exercise except we're going to do a call and response. There's a very easy way to do this. Pick your notes. Okay, awesome. I'm just starting there. 5th fret, that's my root note of the minor pentatonic. Type in minor pentatonic spelling. You'll see it right there. We're in first position. You'll see what the notes are. Root note, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 7. Root note, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 7. Root note, flat 3. Just have that ready if you need help with it. Starting on my root note, right? I'm ending on that flat 3. That's my tension note. Flat 7 or flat 3. That's my tension note. I'm going to play the same exact thing and resolve it. All I'm doing is playing the same exact phrase that ended on a flat 3 or a flat 7 and adding my resolve, my root note, my 1 at the end of that. That makes it takes all of the guesswork away, right? And it's really nice. The first one is my flat 7, and then my resolve. I'm just adding the note at the end, so we don't have to worry about changing any sort of rhythmic structure. Do that over and over and over. Start speeding up the metronome, right? This will start challenging that part of your brain. It's such a great exercise. If you can do it really fast, and really fast, right? 1 lick, tension, and then resolve. Same lick, resolve, right? New lick, tension, repeat it and resolve. New lick, tension, repeat it and resolve. If you just do that over and over, it's strengthening, again, that part of our brain that is going to remember. And how are we going to remember something? By playing it in a rhythm that's a little bit more interesting than just... Does that work? Sure, right? If you can remember it. But we want to break out of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and rhythm. We want to play something that just gets our head moving a little bit. You don't have to worry about the theory, the rhythmic theory, what 16th note they're following on, right? It's just like, it's not interesting. But if I have this, okay, that's a little bit more rhythmically interesting. It gets my head moving. So that is, there's so much strength in those exercises, right? Like building up to that point. Now the next phase, it's the same thing, right? We're just going to add a little bit of variation, right? So let's just take that first lick, nice and easy. My tension. What if I play the first one exactly the same? Cool. I changed that second note to, and then I held it out just a little bit longer. A little bit of a rhythmic change and a little bit of a note change. If you notice, those two still very much go with each other. I'm remembering what I just played, and then I'm deciding to change it a little bit, right? And this is where the storytelling really gets good, because when we're playing just one lick after another, this is great for the listener and ourselves because we have something to attach to. Familiarity is digestible. We can attach ourselves to it, right? But too much of it, lick, same resolve, lick, same resolve, lick, same resolve, is going to get very tiring. So we have to start varying it up. We can do this like note choice, note direction, rhythm. Like that was sort of note direction. I went down a note and changed the rhythm a little bit, right? We can do repeating a note. Okay, I could do that. Right, there's still some similarity in there. There's my resolve. So trying those aspects, changing the rhythm, which is so simple in the sense that you just play like one note or two notes in whatever lick that you played a little bit longer. That's all you have to try, right? And then if you want to, okay, that first one had longer notes. Maybe I don't want to hold out that second note even longer, so I can play faster. If you have a longer note in a lick, right? If you have that longer note, maybe that's a good opportunity. Then if you have right? Great call and response there. Sorry, there's my response. I have to resolve it. Because I'm taking the long note, I'm playing more and changing the note direction a little bit. Perfect example of a little bit of a rhythmic change and a little bit of a note change, right? And then we can start moving further and further away. This is such a great part of the exercise. Changing more of the rhythm, changing more of the note choice and how we're playing it, and getting further and further away from the original idea. The best part is, because I'm still remembering the original idea, because I have to change it, right? So this is the next stage of remembering, because I'm not directly repeating it. I have to remember this pretty intently to be able to make these changes, you know? Then we start really getting into the idea of always remembering and always considering what it is that you just played, thus moving the story forward. The best part too is, the sort of core principle of this is after we're training that part of our brain to remember, we're not memorizing, we're remembering. And that is very different. You know, we don't need to memorize these things note for note. We don't need to memorize what we're saying as we're having a conversation. We're just remembering it, right? And then it becomes a language, and we don't even need to consciously think about these decisions. It's amazing once we start training this. The last phase of this, which is really, really exciting, if you feel ready, is if I have a lick, I could play those two back to back. It's a call and response, but that, whatever it was that I played, a lot of notes there, right? That ends on my tension, but cool. My second one could be, I'm consciously deciding to start in a different place in the scale and play longer notes, completely rhythmically different. You know, not because I didn't remember, because it might be time to make a conscious, complete change. We're sort of always moving between something familiar and something fresh. That's how we're going to keep the listener. If it's too fresh, right? If it's just, it's going to sound random. If there's no continuity at all on your solo. And then if it's too repetitious, it's going to get very tiring very quickly. So we're constantly moving in and out. And that is going to happen with a lick. They play perfectly off of each other because of how different they are. And I'm not forgetting. I am remembering what I played, and I am considering it, which is why I'm going into that next lick. So, my friends, we did this with one little corner of first position of the minor pentatonic. Imagine, taking this all throughout the neck. Imagine doing this in major, in Mixolydian, right, in Dorian. Taking the chord changes, right, that harmonic landscape, the chord changes. Every note now is going to interact differently over each chord change, and not just in the scale overall, right? Like which notes are going to create that tension, which notes are going to soften the phrase, which are going to like explode, sort of like with color, with tension, however it is that we're thinking of it. Over each one of the chord changes, the interaction is going to be different. Then moving on into purposefully playing outside of the tonal center to drive a little bit more of like a modern tense sound. Right? These are all stages, and you're starting right here, and this is perfect because now you know why your solos are sounding boring. And making those deliberate changes now will get you to the level of why we like our favorite guitar soloists, because they're telling a story, right? And this isn't like luck. To be honest, it's not even talent, right? There's a system. It's trainable, and it goes so much deeper than just what scale you're playing, which is where we get stuck, right? What the scale is, knowing the scale, that's information. Even sort of knowing what note to hit over what chord, that's surface level information. We want to dive into the ocean, the endless ocean, right, of creative language, right, pushing the boundaries of what the rules are and saying what it is that we want to say, So if you're thinking like, oh my God, I have never thought of any of this or practiced any of this, that is one of the reasons why your guitar solos feel stuck, right? They feel boring, and you've sort of hit a plateau that we absolutely need to break through. So, my friends, we have barely scratching the surface and getting into all of this. If you do feel ready to jump in and tackle this entire system from where you are to an advanced guitar player, there is a way to book a free consultation call. That link is below in the description to see if you are right for our Fretboard Fluency Mentorship program. If you also want to dive a little bit more into some of these topics, I do have a free training. That link is in there as well. I would like to thank you for staying until the end of the video, and I will see you in the next one.